You know, there's a few things that you can do that might just very well save not only the way you see things and preserve the way you see things, but it may actually just keep you in focus. You know, I know you've all been in love at least once, but you want to believe it's love, you want to believe it's true, because you can tell that they were doing things for you that nobody else would have done. But you notice there in the end of it, when things start to just get ugly, and it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what they say. You know, sometimes there's really nothing you can say. Sometimes you can actually make things worse by telling people how you feel. You know, and that's the thing, is that not everybody knows how to express their feelings. Me personally, I guess I've just been gifted with that, is that showing people how I feel is like a release for me. It lets me know that there's something in me that is strong. There's something in me that's pure. And I think people like that. I think people like that a lot. And they might just very well choose me because they wish they could see more of that and maybe try to learn from it. But if they're so reluctant to learn, and they're so reluctant to value what it is to be open with your feelings, then they'll never feel. They'll never feel the way you do. And if they don't feel the way you do, then you might tell them they must not have loved you or something, but they just don't see it through your eyes. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't make somebody open up. You can't make somebody enjoy that feeling that you get. You can't really make anybody do anything. You can't get them to realize. You can't get them to notice the things that you do. They have to do it on their own. And if they don't do it on their own, you know what? You're going to be the one to pick that up. And you're going to realize there's more out there. There's definitely more out there that you should be feeling. And my father once told me that I'm at that part of my life where I should be telling myself what's in it for me. Because if I know who I am and I know what I have to offer, then I should definitely be taking chances left and right just to find something better, find something that I'll complain less about. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do in this journey. I think it's going to be easy as I get older. I think it's going to get a lot easier as I get older because, you know, I'm young. I could probably get away with a lot of things. What I mean by that is that, you know, you can date around, you can have fun. You don't really have to stick with anybody. They don't have to stick with you. It sucks though, you know, because after you date around a while and then you meet somebody and then they're real special and you decide, hey, I'm going to stop dating people for this special person. You hope that it is what it is. You really enjoy the fresh spark that invigorates your heart. It's that smile that touches you on the back and it says hi. That's special. That's very precious to me. And I wouldn't settle for anything less. So, but it almost seems like no matter what you try to do, you usually fail. And I think if we didn't fail, we wouldn't learn, you know? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of emotions. You know, not only do you have to be open and let yourself feel, but you have to understand that people aren't always going to see those emotions. You could be screaming and you could be getting real loud, and maybe that's all they see. They're not seeing the pain. They're not seeing the complete misunderstanding. They're not getting the fact that you're hurting. They're not getting the fact that your heart's breaking because they're not there for you when you need them to be. You know? Sometimes, like, you know, I think some women, they fall short of showing their love because they're afraid of the strong man in front of them. And it scares them because they don't look at it as pain, they look at it as violence, and it's not that way all the time. You know? I know what I've been through with my share of violence, and it's not even up for discussion right now. But you know, what's important is that some people know that that's pain showing through, that's not anger, and that all we want to do is just to be comforted. If that means a hand on the shoulder, then that means a hand on the shoulder. Maybe it just means a hug. Maybe it just means someone telling you that everything's going to be okay. But some people just get so scared because they're not used to it. Maybe they grew up not able to express their feelings, so they were taught to the world they shouldn't. Maybe the ones that raised them never showed their feelings. Maybe the ones that they grew up with told them that showing their feelings was wrong. You know, so many people grow up so many different ways that it's like, you can't tell somebody to change on a drop of a hat. You can only sense and just see how willing they are to actually adapt to your situation. If it means something to them, they will. And if you don't mean that much to them, then it will show, because they won't do everything they can. Unfortunately, people like me who do everything they can to show their feelings usually do everything they can to let that person know that they're okay with showing you their feelings. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that we're colorful. I know it's kind of funny. I got a black and white thing going on here, calling myself colorful. I'm just a very animated person, and I figured this might actually a little bit accentuate that, you know, because I'm really tired of having cameras that make my lips look too pink and my eyes look too blue, my skin look funny. I just thought it'd be a little artsy, you know, give me a break. Anyway, so if you try your hardest just to show that you're going to be the one to let that other person feel, they'll understand that you really are there for them. Because like me, I can't really be suppressed. Sometimes I wish I could. Sometimes I wish I could, only because people don't understand emotion all the time. Sometimes people just see what they want to see, and they take it how they want to take it. Sometimes people tell you that your emotions are just your thoughts. But if you know they're your emotions, and if you know that's how you really feel, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's you. That's you being true. That's you shining. That's you being what you know you're good at. So let yourself do it. Give yourself permission to feel. Because so many amazing people out there do so many amazing things when they do what they feel. you know, because it's coming straight from your heart, you know, so there's nothing wrong with that. So much beautiful music has been written based on feelings, and if you don't feel, then you're a robot. You got a thick, hard shell and nothing's coming out. You know, it's kind of funny because it's almost like all those emotions everybody else is showing is just bouncing right off your hard shell, right back onto them, and they know it. It's kind of a sad and shitty way to be, and I'm doing my best to try to stay away from stuff like that. Because I'll tell you what, there's so much going on in this world right now. We can't just sit around and wait for shit to happen. You gotta make things happen. You gotta be spontaneous. If you're not spontaneous, then damn, you're predictable. And predictability is, I won't say the number one reason for the ending of relationships, because there's so many other things. But damn it, if you're real sensitive to the way people do things and you can see reality happening in front of you, you will find those patterns. It's not, you won't be looking for them, you'll just see them. And that's just the way it is. You'll see patterns. But that doesn't mean that your patterns of guessing how they're going to turn out are going to be right. That takes another type of person to sit there and look at the patterns and try to see where is it going to go. Is this going to happen again? Can I believe them when they say they're sorry? Well, that's up to you. I mean, everybody wants to be forgiven, but some people are just so stubborn. I know I'm stubborn. I think everybody's stubborn. It takes two people to admit they're stubborn and to try to work things out for any kind of change to happen. Otherwise, it's not love. It's not two people sharing the same heart anymore. It's two burdens. One's fighting for the other's love. One's fighting to keep everything for themselves. If you know what I mean. I know it sounds kind of selfish, but some people just want to be selfish. Some people didn't grow up with a lot of people. Some people have to fend for themselves, and it's not their fault. It's just the way things are. I tell you what, there is an amazing side in everybody. There's an amazing side in you. There's an amazing side in me. I know mine, but I don't really know everybody. So it sucks. I wish I did know everybody. If you think about it, this little side thought, there's so many people that you're not going to meet in this life. Think about how many people there are. You're not going to meet everybody. But you got to try to meet people. And more importantly, you got to try to meet them on their level. Otherwise, they're not going to do much for you because you're pulling on that rope, and you got to keep it balanced. It's not a war. It's not a war. You can't treat it like a war that you're going to win, because you can't expect anything from anybody. If you don't try to look at it from a perspective like everybody has to give something to get something, it should always be a give and take relationship. You shouldn't be blamed for not being able to hold up your side. But you shouldn't feel like they're not doing enough either. you have the motive to make somebody happy, then do it. But if somebody isn't trying to do that favor back, then it won't work. You know, I mean, I think little things to fill that person's life with happiness, I think those are the sentimental things that we all want. And sometimes you feel left out. How do we feel left out? How do we feel left out? Everybody's screaming. How do we feel left out? Because maybe all we want is something even more simple than that. Maybe all we want is two hands on the side of our cheeks, running their fingers through our hair, kissing us on the forehead, telling us why it is they're with us. You know, if I woke up and somebody did that to me every day, I would never ask for a fucking thing the rest of my life. But that doesn't happen. You know, when you're laying in bed, if you're the only one that's telling them goodnight, maybe they're just not thinking about it. Maybe they're just too tired. Or maybe it is something else. Maybe it is what you're thinking. Maybe you're not that paranoid. Maybe they just don't care. You won't know. And it's not a good idea to ask them about that either. Unless you want to start a problem. But if you have that problem, you probably have about 10 other problems. Because sometimes we do need those hands on our cheeks. Sometimes we need that back rub. Sometimes we need that stress gone. And sometimes that one person just won't do the trick because they're not acknowledging the fact that you do need it. They're not reading your vibe. They don't have enough chemistry with you to, you know, do what they can to make sure that you are feeling okay. If they see you and your face is sad, they should pick up on that. They should pick up on it, and they should do what they can to make you feel better. You know, there's a lot of people out there that just are, I'm too fucking big to show my feelings. I can't show my feelings because I'm a big old burly manly man, and I'm not supposed to show my feelings. I'm supposed to be the strong man to withhold this relationship. I wear the pants of the family, and I say what I say goes, and whatever. I think I said something like that in the last video statement, but everybody needs to be a little sensitive if they want to get something. And everybody has to show how they feel, otherwise the other person isn't going to know that they even are loved, and they're not going to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? And that can cause a lot of pain. That probably caused more pain than anything. Not appreciated? No, it's not. It's not about being appreciated. It's about being observed. It's about being treated with kindness. It's about being cared and loved, and the only way you can really do that is by paying attention and showing your feelings. That's all I can say right now. That's all that's on my mind. Show your feelings, that way other people don't think that you're using them. We've been used. We've been used, and you know when you've been used, because in the end, you're always the one that gets hurt. You're always the one that wishes you could have it again. But you know what? It's you in the end that usually learns the bigger lesson. You never learn lessons the easy way. It's always the hard way. But every time it makes you stronger. Good night.